Welcome to Lesson 4 in Microsoft Office 2010 with Megan Reese. In this assignment, we will do a lot of review. As you come along, each assignment will have more review as you learn more things. But we will also learn how to change column width, angle text, change alignment both directions, change margins and orientation, learn the functions of min and max, do gradient fill, and insert a picture. You may find that this assignment is a bit harder than the 3 that you've already done. It does take you a little step further, but it's still a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get started on learning how to do these concepts. A quick review. You're going to want to make sure that you know how to merge and center, you know how to change font size, you know how to change the background color, and the font color. These are all things that have been covered in previous assignments. Make sure you understand how to bold, italicize, and underline. Make sure you know how to wrap text, which means you highlight the text and you choose wrap, which you can't really see I'm doing it here because all of these are so short, but it basically wraps the text around onto a next line. You're also going to need to know how to sort, which I've already done, but highlighting it and going to data to sort. You'll also want to remember how to shrink text, which is in format cells, alignment, and shrink text, which you won't see unless it's small enough that you can see it. So those are all things that you're going to want to review. Let's go ahead and get started with the first thing we're going to learn, which is changing column width. You can change your column width easily by grabbing this line here and dragging across. However, sometimes you want to be very exact. Maybe you want all of them to be the exact same size or something. So to do that, and this is exactly the same for the width of a row as well, I'm going to click on the column, right-click, and go to column width. Now, right now it says 14. This is being measured in pixels, little individual dots. Okay? If your number is small, it's like point something or 1 point something, that means it's measuring in inches. Most of the time, every time I do it, I always get pixels, but every now and then I'll get a student that theirs is measuring in inches. So if you have that problem, you may have to do it a little bit manually or kind of see from the example what it should look like and just kind of eyeball it. But you might say, okay, we want this to be, 10.5 or something, and it can make it exactly the width that you want it to be. And it's the same thing with column, row height. You can change your row height the same way. You can also angle text. So I'm going to highlight all of this information, go to Home, and I'm going to click on this A through B. And I'm going to go ahead and angle that this direction. Okay? You can also go straight up like this. There's lots of different ways that you can do it for the assignment, so it's kind of fun to play with that for a little bit. And you can change the size. You also want to know how to center it both directions. So they're centering it here and centering it here. So what that does is this center centers it horizontally. This one centers it vertically. So when I press this center button, now it's in the center. When I press it this way, it centers it going this direction. We're also going to change your margins and orientation, which we've done this a little bit in previous assignment. But we can go to Page Layout, change our margins to whatever it asks you to do. We'll do narrow in this case. And maybe it's Orientation Landscape. Both things that we have done before, but it's a good review. Then we're going to learn how to do max, min, and average. Okay, max means I want to know what the highest number in this list is. Now I know I can look at it and know it's 22, but a lot of times you have a lot of them and you don't want to have to sit there and calculate it. So we're going to use the math problem to do this. And this is a function. So equals, max is the function, open parentheses, and highlight across like this to include all the things I want to have in it. Press enter. Now, you can also do this the other way, where you come into the Home and you go to AutoSum, and instead of clicking on the AutoSum, you pull down the arrow and choose Max. Remember to re-highlight before you drag it down so that you don't copy down all your numbers. Same thing with min. Because I want to skip this one, I'm just going to do it the long way. Equals min, open parentheses. Again, don't include your max because it could change your results. In this case, it wouldn't, but there's no reason to do it. I'm going to highlight it down this way. And now I know what the worst score they got is. So I know that Brinley Anderton, whoever, I just made these names up, 22 is her highest points per game and 12 was her lowest in the month of January. For the average, this is something we've already done in a couple of assignments now. Average, Highlight across, make sure you do not include max and min, and press enter, and I can drag it down. And if you need to, you can go to Format Cells and change your number to decimal places if you need to. The next thing I want to cover is adding a gradient fill. So we're going to highlight this, and I could just change the background color, which there are other parts in this lesson that you'll need to do that by clicking on this button here. But I want to do a gradient fill. So I'm going to right click and go to Format Cells and then go to Fill. And again, I could just pick a regular color. I could even pick a pattern. Okay, there's patterns in here where you can pick the pattern style or whatever if you wanted to do a pattern. Personally, I'm not very fond of patterns. I kind of find them mind-boggling to look at. So I'm just going to do 2 colors. You just pick the colors. You don't really have a lot of options. It's not like PowerPoint where you have tons and tons of choices. It's very limited, which it should be because this is Excel. But I'm going to click OK, and now that's the gradient that I have. You're going to do a lot of borders in this assignment. It might frustrate you at some point because there's one section where it's just highlight this, add a border, highlight this, add a border. So make sure you know what those borders are and that you highlight it properly. Pull down the arrow, there's going to be a thick box. There's going to be a all borders, okay? So make sure that you are aware of how to add those borders. And the last thing that's new is inserting a picture. So I'm going to go to Insert Picture. Now you can do clip art, but in this case there's a specific picture that you're supposed to pull in that's part of the assignment. So you just go to Insert Picture, and I believe it's this one right here. This is the one from the assignment. And then I can grab it and resize it. If you've used Word, it's not like Word where you have to change the wrap, but you can't put it behind text or anything fancy like that. It's just kind of, it is what it is in Excel. Just Excel in a nutshell. It is what it is. Anyway, that's all the new things that you will be learning in this program. A lot of it is review. It's a good chance for you to find out if you really have mastered all the things we've already learned in lessons 1 through 3. So good luck.